Ngeba Sojola here. In this video, we'll be particularly looking at the introduction of direct energy weapons into the battlefield, right? But we'll be looking at specifically laser technology. Now, now, laser technology was particularly introduced into the battlefield to defend against aerial threats. So laser technology was introduced to defend against things like drones, right? Missiles, rockets, cruise missiles, unmanned aerial vehicles, right? Anything that would come from the sky and be a threat, right? We can include mortars on that list. Now, the way this new laser technology works is quite simple, right? It's basically focusing kilowatts of power, right, into a precise point, right? That is it. It is taking energy, right, and then focusing it into a precise point to produce a damaging effect. Now, this sort of technology was particularly being tested out by the US military in the 90s and early 2000s, right? Particularly, they were using chemical lasers, right? And they had modified a 747, right, to go around shooting missiles that had just launched. Now, laser technology can be very effective in the battlefield because lasers can be used to, for example, to redirect any target that might be coming in, right? To damage targets, to destroy targets, and to, let's say, overheat certain equipment that you find on the battlefield. For example, rockets, missiles, unmanned vehicles, helicopters, right? Anything that would be of an aerial threat, right? The laser technology would be able to intercept that threat and deal with the issue effectively. Now, there are two main issues which come with the ion beam air defense technology. Number one, the type of weather it operates in, right? It doesn't operate well in rainy and windy conditions. And number two, right? Distance, right? Currently, it can't function beyond a 20-kilometer radius. So these are the two main issues that we find with the new technology that the Israeli Defense Force wants to introduce into the battlefield, known as the Iron Beam Air Defense System. The Israeli Iron Beam Air Defense System has a shooting range of about 7 kilometers to about 20 kilometers. It can shoot out a laser beam that has a power unit of 100 kilowatts. That's about 3 times the power that you would need for an average household in South Africa. The ion beam system is so precise and accurate that it can target a coin at a distance of 20 kilometers. Now, it costs the system between $2 to $3.50 to use per kill, right? It was first tested in March of 2022. The Israeli Defense Forces intend on using the Iron Beam air defense system initially in the early parts of 2024. The Iron Beam air defense system, right, was not invented to replace the current short-range air defense systems that you find in Israel, right, which is known as the Iron Dome, right? So the Iron Beam is not invented to replace the Iron Dome, but it is invented to be integrated into the greater air defense systems that you find in Israel, right? Now, the first short range air defense system you find in Israel is known as the Iron Dome, right? It has a range of about 70 kilometers in radius, meaning that it can shoot down objects at a distance of about 70 kilometers, right? And it costs about $50,000 to use each missile to shoot down a target within this range, right? So that is quite an expensive exercise, because when we look at the attack which occurred on the 7th of October, right, by Hamas, right? Hamas was sending about over 5,000 rockets, which costed Hamas maybe $300, $200 to make each, right? So when we look at the economics of war in this regard, right, the the, the air defense system known as the Iron Dome, right, has failed in this regard. It was overwhelmed with cheap rockets which were homemade in Gaza, right? Now, when we look at the ion beam, right, the ion beam operates at a range of 20 kilometers. So it is a air defense system that will be integrated into the greater air defenses of the Israel. Israel has a number of air defenses. Number one, the Iron Dome. Number two, the THAAD system. Number three, the Patriot air defense system, right? And number four, the Arrow missiles, right? So all of this, they function as the air defense system of Israel. All of this equipment had been developed by their American counterpart, right? Except for the Iron Beam. And with the Iron Beam, they are working together with their American counterparts to produce this piece of energy, direct energy weapons, right? So, in terms of shooting down targets, right, aerial targets, the Iron Beam is way, way cheaper than the Iron Dome, right? The Iron Dome takes about $50,000 to shoot down one aerial target, right? When we look at the Iron Beam, it takes about $2 to $3 to shoot down the same target, right? So this is just the introduction of directed energy weaponry in the battlefield, and it is certainly to develop. Of course, China and Russia are developing their versions of direct energy weapons, right? But they hadn't released anything to be seen by the public. I believe they are working on something that would be very interesting to see. But America is also working on this technology. So, this type of technology, we'll be seeing more of it in the coming years, especially the future wars which we'll be facing as the planet. Thank you for this opportunity. I'll see you in the next video.